What's up, troopers? We are back with the Bad Batch. Going to be breaking down episode 1 and episode 2 of season 2, Spoils of War and Ruins of War. So I got a nice little slide. We're going to dive on into this. We will cover my things that I liked, my top moments of both episodes, future predictions, and maybe dive into some things that I didn't like. But honestly, this was a solid episode. So let's dive on into it. Bad Batch episode season 2, episode 1 review. I'm going to cover top moments, spoils of war, top moments, ruins of war, and then predictions moving forward. So here's my top moments in spoils of war, and I'll give you a quick hint. I like clones, and so there's going to be some clones in here, and there's going to be some references to Indiana Jones, and obviously we get Serenno. So let's dive into it. Omega on the island, actually a Lord of the Rings reference in here as well. So one of the things I loved about it opening up is right away we get Wrecker's comedy. Wrecker goofed up. He woke up the hive and they're running on the island. Omega's got a nice new haircut and obviously Tech's flying the ship. For a second, I thought she was looking at the Sith infiltrator on her little screen instead of doing homework. But ultimately, I think she was just doing a little bit of research on ships that she would see in later in the episode. But one of the things that I noticed as she was doing this, this part of the episode is she was like Legolas. Like she was just like boom, 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 just lighting up those little crabs from Mr. Krabs' Crab Shack. And they didn't stand a chance because she was, one of the best elves of Lothlorien, basically. She was like an elf of Mirkwood. It was legit. And so watching her do that, I thought was really cool right off the bat. We're like, okay, cool. Omega has progressed. And that was something that I noticed a lot for both these episodes is you get a lot of character development, which is really cool. And then Serenno, I'm doing a whole other video on it. You can check that out in the description where we basically do a little bit of a deeper dive on what Serenno was. Obviously, it's Count Dooku's home planet. Tristan Johnson, what's going up, man? What's going on, man? And there's a lot of lore that actually happens there, from Dooku being there, how Dooku got there, Dooku going there as a Jedi. And so it's really cool to be able to see this planet, get more time with it outside of just his castle. And, I think it was really interesting too in this image. You see it, the Imperial orbital bombardment, and the fact that the Empire is just doing this to any and all planet and just taking it out. And, they go there because they got to get the war chest. Sid sends them on a little bit of a mission. Weird that they're on another mission already, but they need the money. And so they're going in the containers, and they see all of this money, all of this loot, but it's stuff that Dooku has got because he was able to exploit not only Serenno, but other systems as well, both probably Separatist and Republic to that matter. So other thing I liked, as mentioned earlier, clone troopers. So here we've got our man Wilco, and he's doing his job, right? He obviously still kind of got the inhibitor chip working a little bit. He's trying to take out Clone Force 99, but we see later in the next episode that he does have a conscience. And so anytime I get to see new clones, I'm all about it. We get 2 new CTs. We get CT 8801. So throw that in the bank. And then we get CT 3278. And again, anytime we get new CT numbers as CT 3939, I'm all about it. And, love seeing the clones, love seeing the animation, love seeing them fire. We still have the Bad Batch using, they're using the stuns, right? They're trying to stun the clone troopers while the clone troopers are trying to blast them. I think we see that change at some point. I don't want to get into predictions, but I do think we'll see that change. They can't continue to do that in perpetuity just because there's so much at stake. Right? You can't just play, with knives when the other people have guns. You can't keep stunning these people. And so I think we definitely see the Bad Batch start firing. And, that gets in kind of like the development of the character, development of the story. So let me know down in the comments what you thought of episode 1, Spoils of War. Thought it was a quick episode, obviously 24, 28 minutes, but we got right to the point. We saw some things that we love. We got great lore already weaved in. As soon as they said Serenno, I was like, wow, this is sick. We get to go back to Dooku's place and see what he's been up to this entire time. But now we've got episode 2, where we will dive into Ruins of War. And when I was reading the titles, I was like, oh, Spoils of War. Oh, Ruins of War. I wonder how they'll take this. And so we get to kind of see, the Spoils of War is, oh, look at all the war chest that is showing up on Dooku's home planet, Serenno. Then on the flip side, it's like, what does that cost, right? we get into a couple things that really impact not just the characters, but impact the planet as a whole. So before I dive into my Indiana Jones, if you've seen the episode, think about the very end with Omega and Echo, and she's reaching down, holding on, trying to get this war chest. And I thought it was so much like The Last Crusade when Indiana Jones is reaching down for the chalice and his dad is saying, "No, leave it." And he's like, "I can almost reach it." And Omega was doing the exact same thing. I guarantee you the writers are like, "Oh, let's recreate this Last Crusade moment and show Omega's character development the same way she has to resist the the treasure, the spoils, the jewels." We understand why because of what Echo said earlier, but it's also Echo saying, "Hey, leave it. This isn't more important than your life." And ultimately she does, and ultimately, we get the similar result as Dr. Jones, Indy, Dr. Jones. We see, armored assault tank. That was a big one for me. Seeing Wrecker just light up the clone troopers, being able to essentially rewire the energy core of the LAT. We see a couple of those clankers. He throws them out, and him and Hunter working together as a team, I thought was a really cool dynamic, being able to see those two in action and seeing Hunter being a demolitions expert and just, again, lighting up the clones. One other vehicle that I did catch was the BARC speeder. I don't know if you guys caught that. The clone troopers were riding on the BARC speeder, and basically, I think we'll see more and more of these. Again, I'm getting into predictions, but I think the writers know where their bread is buttered, and we're going to see more and more of these little callbacks, these little things. Coming back to this point of character development, actually, I really liked what happened with Tech. And obviously, I didn't like that he broke his leg. And I thought it was interesting, too, that he breaks his leg and he's like, "Oh, that was 150 metric tons of force on my leg." And meanwhile, Nemec's like, "I'm dead. Ow." Animated clones. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. But Tech, for a moment there, I was like, might he die? Like, could Tech die? And so right away, I'm like, okay, we see Omega's already going through a bit of a character journey. Tech is having to go through a character journey in a way because like we see his mortality. And I think the scenes with, I forget the guy's name, Romar, Tech, Echo, the little three-way of communication, I thought was really cool, really interesting, being able to dive into that, and what it was like for the people of Serenno. It wasn't just the fact that Dooku exploited the planet for the riches. He also exploited the people. They're running from the Empire. They're running from the war. They're running from everything. He says, "Get the Empire out, get you out. I don't want the money. The money is not worth the problem that it is being brought down upon us." So yeah, we saw the AAT, and then the last thing that I loved was Rampart and Wilco. So talked about Wilco a little bit, but just that ending scene was dark. I don't know. What do you guys thought? Like the comments, let me know. Was that dark or is that dark? Rampart does not like clones. He does not want anything to do with them. If we remember back to season 1, he's trying to replace them with the elite soldiers that are conscripted humans, basically, and getting rid of the clones and saying they're not worth a damn. And even though Wilco was probably doing the right thing from an integrity standpoint, he just proved Rampart's belief right. He's like, "Yeah, I'm not going to follow your orders. I have a soul." And Rampart's like, "That's great. I don't have a soul, so I will blast you in the head and I will change the report," which the report that Bad Batch died after the assault of Camino and the destruction of Camino, that's kind of an interesting belief. And I think that might maybe, obviously now they know, but that's how the Bad Batch has been able to just continue to operate, is you have this destruction of Camino. Oh, Bad Batch is gone with it. Clone Force 99 is no longer an issue. And I think it'll be interesting to see Crosshair's. I guess he would have known. So Crosshair would have known. So yeah, I guess we know that Crosshair knows that the Bad Batch are alive. And I think, anyway, to that point, we will get into the predictions for future episodes. And I think this whole part with Rampart just kind of displays what it is that we're going to see. And that's going to be the dissolution of clones, right? We saw it in the trailer. Clones are starting to wake up. You see Wilco getting a little bit of like, "Hey, this isn't the right thing." Rampart hates the clones. Obviously, we move into TKs and just regular stormtroopers. So being able to see more and more of that, I don't think we'll see the vaunted Clone Wars, that's kind of like the angle of like, oh, the clones versus the stormtroopers. I don't see we'll see any kind of civil war like that, but I definitely think we'll continue to see how the clones fall apart. And I think, what if Commander Cody finds out about what happened to Captain Wilco? Is that what turns him? Does Crosshair turn? Because he's like, wait, I'm not welcome here. So I think this could be where we're going. Obviously, you got a ton more things to look into. We got Gunji coming up, and we got a lot more with Captain Rex. One prediction that I mentioned on a previous live, but I do think that we will get some Captain Wolf, because we got to get Wolf. We got to get Gregor. We already got Gregor in War Mantle, so we'll see him. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. What did you think? Did you like it? Did you not like it? I'm not big on giving them numbers, but if I had to say numbers, it was 8 out of 10. Nothing like mind-blowing, but solid episode, and can't wait for next week. And as I mentioned, down below in the description, I got a quick video on the Serenno backstory. It's not like super big deep dive, but it'll give you kind of a what's what of, when was Serenno shown in the Clone Wars and different books, and gives a little bit more backstory to that planet as well. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you guys on the next episode of the Trooper Transmission. This is CT3939 signing out. Later, troopers.